Alrighty, so this is the attempt at pre-recording a lesson on essays. This is just going to be an introductory lesson to kind of the basics of an essay and what that will kind of look like, and then we'll go into more detailed things around introductions, main body paragraphs, and conclusions in another video. So the first things first, learning about essays. What I want you to do is to write down the word exam essay and take a timer of a phone or on your clock or something nearby and give yourself about 3 minutes and time yourself and see how many words you can come up with that you can spell out of the words or the letters from the words exam essay. Because our essays, whilst they're not going to build to exams at the moment, they will build to exams at the end of the year, and they're an important skill. So how many words can you make out of those? Remember, no names, no places, 3 letters or more, and you can't use letters twice if there's not that letter. So there's the letter E twice, so you can use that twice, but you couldn't use it 3 times, and you couldn't use the letter Y twice, for example. So you can make the word same. Okay, you can't make the word exam and essay because that's already made for you. See how many words you can come up with. Take 3 or 4 minutes, pause the video, and give that a go. So hopefully you're coming back now. You've given that a go. You can see how many words you have created. Feel free to share in our Teams page and let us know how many that you have gotten, made, collected out of that. Now for some actual work. So firstly, what is an essay? So we do them in English. You might have done them before, you might do them for different subjects, and they're going to look different depending on what subject you're in, but they probably follow a fairly similar structure. So an essay is a type of report. It consists, how we teach it, of an introduction, 3 main body paragraphs, and a conclusion. So that's the structure of an essay. What we work with is that you respond to an essay topic or a question, and that follows the same structure every time you do it. And in one of the slides coming up, I'll show you what that structure is. The idea is that you form an argument. Okay, so everything that you do, you are saying, this is the important idea. That's your argument. And then what you're going to need to do is then have evidence to support that argument. And then you're going to explain how that evidence shows what you're saying it is. And that's what your main body paragraphs are for. So introductions and conclusions, they're there to give a little bit on either side, keep it tidy structurally, and then you're going to have main body paragraphs, which is where you do your real work, putting together your argument. Okay, that's the best way to think about what an essay is. So there's often the image of a hamburger when you look into essays and what they are. So what you've got first is your introduction. That's your top bun. If you're thinking in the order, it keeps everything tidy. It keeps it organized. An introduction introduces your topic. It starts it off. Then you've got your main body paragraph. So this is the filling. That's the good stuff. That's where you explain your thoughts and the evidence and the quotes and everything around that. So you think about the burger. The bit you're looking forward to is the filling, all right? You're not in the burger just for the top bun. That's not the most exciting bit at all. That's just there to keep it all together. And that's the same with an essay. So the filling is your good stuff, and that's your main body paragraph. And finally, your conclusion. Once again, it's structurally there to keep it tidy and finish it off. If you had a top bun but not a bottom, it'd be sloppy. The filling would be going everywhere, it'd be disorganized. And that's the same for an essay. So your buns are just to keep things organized. The main body paragraphs are your filling. And they're the bits that kind of make the burger a little bit more worthwhile. So they're the bits in your essay that are going to have evidence, and they're going to have an argument, and they're going to be the thing that really determines your grade. The other bits are just to keep it tidy and organized. So, essay topics. In year 9, 10, and 11, we structure our essay questions exactly the same. Okay, they're going to follow what we call a 2-part question. Now, I remember I had a student once that really argued the fact that they're not a question because they don't have a question mark. So otherwise, they might be called a topic, but they are kind of a question. So there are 2 parts to them. You're going to be asked to describe something, and you're going to be asked to explain something. So the way that we structure our paragraphs, some people will teach you that you have 1 described paragraph and 2 explained paragraphs. But what we do is we do describing and explaining in each paragraph. It's just easier, it's easier to think about, and it sets you up for senior school really well. So there are 2 parts, a describing part and an explaining part. And that's going to be the same at year 9, year 10, and even at NCEA level 1 in year 11 as well. So that's really important to keep in mind. They're going to be structured like that. The words are going to change. They're going to get a little bit harder, but they're going to be the same kind of phrasing and the same sort of structure. So if you look at the one there in yellow and green, so you are going to the essay topic, what you would be creating your argument about is that you would be describing at least 1 character in the text, and you'd be explaining why they were likable and or dislikable. So the way that that question is structured is you'd be talking about a character. You could talk about more than 1, and we know that because of the phrasing, at least 1 character. And then you're thinking about why they're likable or dislikable. So you'll see there in the yellow that there is 1 part of the question and the green is the second part. So I've just done that with colour just to make it a little bit clearer for you. So there are 2 parts to the question. You're being asked to do 1 thing and then explain 1 thing. So the way you're going to describe the character, so the marker knows who you're talking about, and then you're going to explain why they're likable or dislikable. And that's your argument, is the explanation part. The next thing to be aware of are keywords. So this can throw some people, and some people it's super simple and some it throws them, and that can be even all the way through to year 12 or 13. So don't worry if you don't get this the first time round. So keywords refer to the part of the essay topic that's your main focus. It's the bit that you're talking about during your essay. So if you don't know the essay topic, I should be able to, when I'm marking your essay, figure out what your essay topic is, because you reference the words from the question lots. You repeat them and you repeat them and you repeat them. And so it should be really clear. And I should, even if I don't know the question, I should be able to figure out what the focus of your essay is. So if I was trying to summarize the topic to someone, these would be the words you focus on. So if you said, today I wrote this essay, it was about blank, that should be your keywords. Okay, so if you read a question, you think, what am I being asked to do? I'm being asked to talk about a character and why they're likable or dislikable. So those are my keywords. So as it says, the essay topic on the previous slide, the keywords would be character and likable or dislikable. So look back at that question. I'm being asked to talk about a character and why they're likable or dislikable. So every paragraph in my essay should reference those words, character and likable, or character and dislikable, depending on what my argument is. Every paragraph is going to reference those at least once, but the more times you reference those words, the more times you're addressing the question, so your answer is probably a bit more focused. So that's what our keywords are. So to summarize that, keywords are the main focus from the question. They're the bit of the question that you're going to reference throughout your response so that the marker knows what your question is and so that you know that you're answering it. Because if you were answering that question and you didn't reference the word character and you didn't reference the word likable or dislikable, would you actually be answering the question? Probably not. If you spend a whole essay just talking about a character, you're probably describing them, but you're definitely not talking about them being likable or dislikable, right? You want to make it really clear what you're talking about, and that's where the keywords come in. So the task for this lesson to have a think about is you're going to copy down those essay questions if they're not already there for you to work with. Copy them down, and then what you're going to do is identify the 2 parts of the question and underline the keywords. So what you can do is just like what I've done on that previous slide, do the first part of the question in one colour and the second part of the question in the other, and then you can just underline or bold the words that are the keywords. Okay, so remember, keywords, main focus. All right, so the keywords in that question were character and likable and dislikable. Okay, and the yellow is the first part and the green is the second part. So you should probably follow that to keep it easy. So what you're going to do is pause the video, copy them down, or have them in front of you and highlight one colour for the first part of the question, one colour for the second, and underline those keywords. That's the main task for today's lesson. Okay, so I'm assuming that you've unpaused the video and you've come back to this and you're ready to have a check through. So I've done the answers for us on the next slide, and you can see if you've got them roughly like that. So describe at least one important event in the text and explain why that event helped you to understand at least one character. Okay, so the first part is the bits before and the second part is the bit after and. Okay, so I'm doing two things in this essay. I'm describing an event and I'm explaining how it shows character. Okay, those are my verbs, describing and explaining. So the keywords there are important event and understand and character. So if you haven't quite got that, that's all good. But if you've got some of those words, so you've got important event, that's good. If you've got important event in the text, that's fine. If you've got understand at least one character, that's fine. If you've underlined the word describe or you've underlined the word explain, probably not on track quite yet. Next one. Describe at least one setting that appeared in your text and explain why that setting helped you to understand an idea. So those are two different parts of the question to be having a think about. So setting is one part of the keyword and understand an idea is the other. So if you underlined helped you to understand, that is totally okay as well. This third one that we've got here, describe at least one language feature that was used in your text and explain how it helped you to understand the text. So the keywords are language feature and understand the text. So they would be in every paragraph. They're what you're being asked to do. They're your focus. So that makes them your keywords. Once again, if you've got keywords helped you to underlined as well, that's totally okay. And the lucky last one for this lesson, describe at least one important idea or theme, that's our keywords in the text, and explain why it was important to learn about. So that's all the keywords that you should have for that one there. Important idea or theme, important to learn about. You don't have to worry what all these words mean or how you would answer these questions because we're just in the early stages, but those are essay questions. Those are two parts. Those are keywords. Okay, in the next future lessons, we'll unpack what an introduction looks like, main body paragraphs, what they look like, and conclusions, what they look like. So ultimately, what you've covered today is that essays are reports, they form an argument, they respond to a question, they follow a typical structure, intro, 3 body paragraphs, conclusion, and they have a question that looks like this with keywords. So hopefully that's clear and fine and dandy, you've understood it. If not, watch through again, see if watching it through helps you again, ask questions. Otherwise, it'll all be okay, it'll make sense. This is the first lesson. Well done.